Bhagavata Purana, the eternal wisdom of the Supreme Spirit. Once, in the sacred Nayamisa forest, a group of wise sages led by Saunaka gathered to perform a grand sacrificial session lasting 1,000 years. Their purpose was to attain the heavenly abode of Lord Vishnu and to seek knowledge of the highest duty, free from worldly desires and illusions. Among these sages was Suta, a revered narrator who had deeply studied and expounded the epics, Puranas and law books. Recognized for his vast knowledge and wisdom, the sages eagerly sought his guidance. One morning, after completing their rituals, the sages approached Suta respectfully. They requested him to narrate the stories and teachings of the venerable Lord of the Sattvatas, the Supreme Spirit. They yearned to understand the essence of the Vedas and the mysteries of the universe, from creation to destruction, and the eternal presence of the Supreme Spirit in all that exists. Suta, knowing the significance of their request, began to recount the divine tales. He spoke of the Supreme Spirit, who is real and omniscient, illuminating the hearts of the wise. He explained how this spirit revealed the Vedas to Brahma, the first knower, and how the creation, preservation, and destruction of the universe are but manifestations of his presence. The sages listened with rapt attention as Suta described the Bhagavata Purana as the ripe fruit of the Vedic tree, full of ambrosial bliss. This Purana, he said, was not just a text, but a living, breathing essence of the highest Dharma, devoid of deceit and envy, and capable of granting supreme bliss and liberation. As Suta narrated, he emphasized the importance of hearing and studying the Bhagavata Purana with devotion and sincerity. He recounted the glorious deeds of Lord Krishna and his incarnations, which cleanse the sins of the Kali age and bring purity to the heart. With each tale, the sages found their minds soothed and their hearts filled with divine love and wisdom. They realized that the teachings of the Bhagavata Purana offered a direct path to understanding the Supreme Spirit and attaining liberation, far beyond the reach of other treatises. Thus, in the serene Nayamisa forest, under the guidance of Suta, the sages immersed themselves in the eternal wisdom of the Bhagavata Purana, finding solace, joy, and enlightenment in the divine stories of the Supreme Spirit. Once upon a time, in the serene realms of spiritual discourse, the wise sage Narada found himself in conversation with Bhakti, the divine personification of devotion. Bhakti, distressed by the state of the world, was comforted by Narada, who spoke with soothing assurance. "Noble lady, why do you fret? Invoke the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and your worries will vanish. Remember Krishna, who protected Draupadi, and the gopis is always near. You, Bhakti, are dearer to him than his own life. When you call upon him, he comes, even to the homes of the lowly." Narada continued, "In ages past, spiritual knowledge and renunciation led to liberation. But now, in the Kali Yuga, devotion alone grants union with the divine. Krishna created you as his beloved counterpart, and you have been entrusted with the care of his devotees. Mukti, the liberation of the soul, is your maid, while Jnana, knowledge, and Vairagya, renunciation, are your sons. You have thrived through the ages from Satya Yuga to Dvapara Yuga, but in Kali Yuga, heretical doctrines have weakened your sons. Fear not, Bhakti, Narada reassured. I will find a way to restore your sons to their former glory. In this age, devotion must flourish in every heart and home. If I fail in this, I am no servant of God. Those who embrace you will transcend all fears and find the abode of Krishna. Even sinners will be saved by your grace." Asterisk, asterisk, the voice from the heavens, moved by Bhakti's plight, Narada sought divine guidance. A voice from the heavens spoke, "Do not despair, Narada. Perform righteous acts as guided by saintly sages, and your efforts will succeed. Jnana and Vairagya will awaken, and devotion will spread far and wide." Asterisk, asterisk, the quest for answers. Determined, Narada journeyed from one sacred place to another, seeking answers from wise sages. Yet no one could offer a definitive solution. Some said the malady was incurable, others remained silent. With great resolve, Narada arrived at Badarikasrama, prepared to undertake austerities for Bhakti's sake. Asterisk, asterisk, the arrival of the Kumaras. At that moment, the radiant Kumaras, Sanaka and his brothers, appeared before Narada. With folded hands, Narada beseeched them, "O youthful sages, reveal to me the remedy suggested by the heavenly voice. How can Bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya be restored to their full vigor?" The Kumaras, with serene smiles, responded, "Dear Narada, there exists a simple and ancient remedy, the recitation of the Śrīmad Bhāgavata Purana. This sacred text, composed of the essence of the Vedas and Upanishads, possesses unparalleled power. Just as ghee is hidden in milk and sugar in sugarcane, the essence of divine knowledge is concentrated in the Bhagavata." They continued, "By reciting the Bhagavata, Bhakti will thrive, and your sons, Jnana and Vairagya, will be rejuvenated. The sound of its verses will dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga and restore happiness to all. Even Vyasa, wise and learned, found solace in the Bhagavata when he was troubled. This sacred story is the key to ending grief and sorrow." With newfound hope, Narada embraced the Kumaras' wisdom. The recitation of the Bhagavata would revive Bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya, spreading devotion and divine love throughout the world. And so, Narada set forth to share this powerful remedy, ensuring that the light of devotion would shine brightly in every heart, leading all souls to the divine embrace of Lord Krishna. Thus, through the wisdom of the Kumaras and the unwavering devotion of Narada, the path to liberation in Kali Yuga was illuminated, and the timeless power of Bhakti was reaffirmed for all ages to come. Narada, the divine sage, expressed his desire to establish devotion, bhakti, knowledge, jnana, and renunciation, vairagya. He decided to perform a sacred sacrifice by reciting the Bhagavata Purana, a holy scripture introduced by the sage Suka. Narada requested guidance on where to conduct this sacred recitation and asked about the importance and procedure of the Bhagavata. The Kumaras, a group of enlightened sages, responded to Narada. They directed him to a beautiful place called Ananda, near the holy city of Haridvara, on the banks of the river Ganga. This serene location was home to many sages and divine beings, filled with various trees, creepers and golden lotuses, making it an ideal spot for the recitation. Upon arriving at the designated place, Narada was joined by a multitude of sages, celestial beings and devotees eager to hear the Bhagavata. Notable sages like Bhrigu, Vasistha and Vyasa, among others, came with their disciples and families. Deities, holy rivers and sacred places also made their presence felt. The entire assembly was seated with the devotees of Lord Vishnu in the front, followed by other celestial beings and the deities of sacred places. The Kumaras began to extol the glory of the Bhagavata, emphasizing its power to grant liberation from the cycle of birth and death. They explained that listening to the Bhagavata with devotion and concentration could purify the heart and bring one closer to Lord Vishnu. The Kumaras highlighted that the Bhagavata consists of 18,000 verses divided into 12 books, Skandhas, and recounts a dialogue between King Pariksit and the sage Suka. They stressed that even a small portion of the Bhagavata has immense power, far surpassing other scriptures and rituals. Listening to or reciting the Bhagavata transforms one's home into a sacred space and eradicates sins. The Kumaras recommended that due to the challenges of the Kali age, a specific period of 1 week dedicated to listening to the Bhagavata is highly effective. This practice helps overcome the limitations of the mind and the difficulties of modern life, granting the same benefits as daily recitation. As the recitation progressed, a miraculous event occurred. Bhakti, the embodiment of devotion, along with her rejuvenated sons, Jnana and Vairagya, manifested before the assembly. Adorned in beautiful garments and ornaments representing the teachings of the Bhagavata, Bhakti expressed gratitude for being revived by the sacred story. The Kumaras advised Bhakti to occupy the hearts of Vishnu's devotees, ensuring that the evils of the Kali age would not affect them. Bhakti, along with jnana and vairagya, entered the hearts of the devotees, bringing them closer to the divine. In response to the deep devotion of his followers, the compassionate Lord, adorned with forest flowers and a yellow silken garment, left his heavenly abode, Vaikuntha, to reside in the pure hearts of his devotees. His presence was marked by extraordinary beauty and grace, with a dark blue complexion, a tinkling girdle, and a kaustubha gem. His divine appearance radiated bliss and consciousness, enchanting all who beheld him. Uddhava and other devotees of Vishnu, unseen, gathered to hear the divine stories of the Bhagavata. As the Lord appeared, the assembly was filled with joy, applause, and the fragrance of flowers and scented powder. The people were so absorbed in the Lord's presence that they forgot themselves and their surroundings. Narada, observing this, spoke about the supreme power and purity of the Bhagavata Purana. Narada explained that in the Kali age, no act purifies the mind or destroys sins like the Bhagavata Purana. Even the most sinful individuals, through recitation and listening to its stories, find redemption. He emphasized that all beings, regardless of their past actions, can become sinless by engaging with the Bhagavata Purana. Narada explained that in the Kali age, no act purifies the mind or destroys sins like the Bhagavata Purana. Even the most sinful individuals, through recitation and listening to its stories, find redemption. He emphasized that all beings, regardless of their past actions, can become sinless by engaging with the Bhagavata Purana. Long ago, in a town by the Tungabhadra river, lived a Brahmana named Atmadeva, learned and wealthy, yet childless. His wife, Dunduli, though beautiful, was domineering and gossipy. Despite their mutual affection, they were deeply unhappy due to their lack of children. They performed many righteous acts and gave away much of their wealth, but to no avail. One day, distressed by his childlessness, Atmadeva went to a forest and met a sage. The sage, moved by Atmadeva's sorrow, revealed that his destiny forbade children for 7 lifetimes. He advised Atmadeva to renounce his desire for a family and seek happiness in a life of renunciation. But Atmadeva, insistent on having a child, begged for the sage's help. The sage, unable to change Atmadeva's destiny but moved by his plea, gave him a fruit and instructed him to give it to his wife, promising that she would bear a son if she followed certain vows. Dunduli, however, reluctant to undergo the hardships of pregnancy and childbirth, conspired with her sister. They devised a plan where her sister, already pregnant, would give her child to Dunduli. Dunduli pretended to be pregnant and received her sister's child, naming him Dundukari. Meanwhile, the cow that ate the fruit also gave birth to a human child with cow-like ears, named Gokarna. Dundukari grew up to be wicked and troublesome, while Gokarna became wise and learned. Atmadeva, troubled by his wicked son Dundukari, lamented his fate. Gokarna, his wise son, advised him to renounce worldly attachments and seek solace in spiritual life. He explained the fleeting nature of worldly pleasures and the true joy found in devotion and renunciation. Heeding Gokarna's advice, Atmadeva left for the forest, dedicating himself to the worship of Lord Hari. Through his devotion and regular reading of the Bhagavata Purana, he ultimately attained oneness with Lord Krishna, finding the peace and fulfillment he had long sought. After Gokarna's father retired to the forest, Dundukari tormented his mother, demanding money. Unable to endure his abuse, she ended her life by jumping into a well. Gokarna, dedicated to yoga and transcending worldly concerns, left for a pilgrimage. Meanwhile, Dundukari lived with 5 prostitutes, committing crimes to fulfill their demands for wealth. Eventually, fearing the consequences of his actions, the women conspired against him. They killed Dundukari and buried his body in secret. After Dundukari's death, his spirit, tormented and restless, roamed the earth. Gokana returned home, performed Shraddha ceremonies for his brother, and one night encountered Dundukari's ghost. Unable to attain peace, Dundukari revealed his plight to Gokana, who sought a solution. The sun god revealed that Dundukari's redemption would come through the recitation of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Gokana organized a week-long reading of the Bhagavata. As Gokana narrated the story, Dundukari, hidden in a bamboo stalk, listened intently. Each day, a joint of the bamboo cracked, signifying the release of Dundukari's spirit. By the end of the recitation, Dundukari attained a divine form and was liberated. The celestial beings informed Gokana that true redemption came from attentive and devoted listening. Gokana then conducted another Bhagavata week, and everyone in the village, including animals, achieved liberation and were taken to Vaikuntha by Lord Vishnu. Thus, the power of the Bhagavata week was reaffirmed, illustrating the profound impact of devotion and the sacred narrative on achieving salvation.